Hello everyone, welcome back. This video is all about ligation. I am going to talk in detail about blunt end ligation and sticky end ligation in this video. Let us first discuss about ligation. To make a recombinant DNA molecule, first we need to isolate a gene with the help of restriction enzymes. See here, this is the DNA to be cloned. At the same time, we need to select a suitable vector. This vector is cut open again with the help of restriction enzymes. And the final step in the construction of recombinant DNA molecule is to join this foreign DNA with this suitable vector. This process is nothing but ligation, and the reaction is catalyzed by the enzyme DNA ligase. So what's the role of ligase? It is going to join the adjacent DNA fragments by forming phosphodiester bonds. Within a living cell, this enzyme DNA ligase play a very important role in repairing the discontinuities that may arise either in a single strand or in the double strand of a DNA molecule. So what is meant by a discontinuity? Nothing but a lack of phosphodiester bond between two nucleotides. Okay, so now what this enzyme DNA ligase is going to do? It will form a phosphodiester bond between these two nucleotides, and in this way it is going to repair the discontinuities that occur in a DNA molecule. All living cells produce this enzyme DNA ligase, but the enzyme ligase which we use in genetic engineering experiments are isolated from E. coli bacteria that is infected with T4 phase. Moreover, sticky ends increases the efficiency of ligation compared to blunt ends. What is meant by blunt end and a sticky end? If you take a double-stranded DNA molecule and when we treat it with the restriction endonucleases, if there is a double-stranded cut, that results in a blunt end. But if there is a single-stranded cut at both the ends of the DNA producing overhangs, that results in sticky ends or cohesive ends. So when we compare a blunt end with a sticky end increases the efficiency of ligation. Look at the picture. This is the picture that shows the ligation between blunt ends, whereas this is the picture that shows the ligation reaction between sticky ends. Look at the picture here. These are the blunt ends. Depending upon the type of restriction endonuclease we use, we may get either blunt end or sticky end. When we compare this blunt ends with the sticky end increases the efficiency of ligation. Why? Because for example, if you take a reaction tube containing DNA molecules which are having blunt ends, and this reaction tube is added with the enzyme ligase. Okay. Now what this enzyme ligase is going to do? It should form a phosphodiester bond between the adjacent nucleotides, and it is going to join the DNA fragments, right? But the joining of blunt ends is not very efficient. Why? Because when we add this DNA molecules having blunt end along with the ligase in a reaction mixture, this enzyme ligase cannot catch hold these DNA molecules. It has to wait for the association of these DNA molecules. When they come in close contact with each other, then this enzyme ligase is going to form a phosphodiester bond in between them. In this way, these blunt ends will be ligated, giving rise to a stretch of double-stranded DNA molecule. So here we need to add a high concentration of DNA molecules in a reaction tube. In contrast, ligation of sticky ends is much more efficient compared to blunt ends. This is because compatible sticky ends that can base pair with each other by forming hydrogen bonds. When they both base pairs with each other, they form a stable structure. Then this ligase will come into the action, and it is going to join the discontinuities that has been formed after the formation of the stable structure. So look at the picture. This is the sticky end of one DNA molecule, and this is the sticky end of another DNA molecule. Now both these DNA molecules are to be joined together with the help of enzyme ligase. As both the DNA molecules possess sticky ends or cohesive ends, they both base pair with each other. They form a stabilized structure. For example, if this sticky end has a sequence of ATGC, Now the other sequence is TACG. Both base pairs with each other, right? Why? Because adenine always pairs with thymine, thymine pairs with adenine, guanine pairs with cytosine, and cytosine pairs with guanine. They both are complementary to each other. Now they both base pairs with each other with hydrogen bonding. That results in the formation of a stabilized structure. See, look at the second picture. Here there is a discontinuity after they form a stabilized structure. Now here the phosphodiester bond is formed with the help of enzyme ligase, resulting in the formation of a stretch of double-stranded DNA molecule. Remember one more important point here. The enzyme ligase should act immediately by forming a phosphodiester bond between the adjacent nucleotides after the formation of a stabilized structure. If there is no formation of phosphodiester bond, again these two DNA molecules may dissociate. Now let us discuss how we can generate a sticky end onto a blunt-ended molecule. Sometimes we can produce sticky ends by digesting both the vector and the DNA molecule that is to be cloned with the same restriction enzyme, or with the different restriction enzymes that produce sticky ends. As we already discussed that these sticky ends will increase the efficiency of ligation, but that is not possible always. Why? Because here the DNA may not have a recognition sequence to cleave it with the same restriction enzyme that we have used to cleave the vector. In that case we need to go with the other restriction enzyme. That may result in the blunt end. Okay, now the vector is having a sticky end, whereas the DNA that is to be cloned is having a blunt end. In this case it will be difficult to ligate this DNA with the vector. Now we go with the option of adding the sticky ends onto a blunt-ended molecule. We have three different methods. One is the use of linkers, other one is the use of adapters, and the third method is homopolymer tiling. Let us discuss about each of them in detail. Coming to the first one, that is linkers. These linkers are the short pieces of double-stranded DNA molecules with a known nucleotide sequence. These linkers are synthesized in a test tube, and we know the sequence of a linker, right? See, look at the picture. This is the structure of a typical linker, and it is having a recognition sequence of ACCTAGGT. So it is the recognition sequence for the restriction enzyme BAMH1. When we add these linkers in high concentration in a test tube, these linkers are going to attach with the DNA molecule. Here the DNA is having a blunt end. Now we are going to make a sticky end onto this blunt ended DNA molecule, right? When we add these linkers and when we provide the enzyme DNA ligase, now this enzyme ligase is going to join these linkers at the end of the DNA molecule. So as we provide more number of linkers, all these linkers will be joined together forming a chain of DNA molecule. Now what we do is we treat with the restriction enzyme BAMH1. As I already told you that these linkers will carry a recognition sequence for this restriction enzyme. They will be cleaved, giving rise to a sticky end. Now it is very easy to ligate this DNA molecule into a vector that is digested with the same restriction enzyme, that is BAMH1. There is one potential drawback with the use of linkers. As we already discussed that these linkers will have a recognition sequence for the restriction enzyme BAMH1, right? So when we add these linkers after treatment with the restriction enzyme, it is going to give rise to a sticky end onto a blunt-ended DNA molecule, right? See, look at the picture. These all are the linkers that are attached to a DNA molecule which is having a blunt end with the help of an enzyme called DNA ligase, right? See, now all these linkers will have a recognition sequence for the restriction enzyme BAMH1, which are going to produce a sticky end onto this blunt-ended DNA molecule, right? But if this DNA molecule also carry the same recognition sequence for the BAMH1, or if there are more than one recognition sequence for the restriction enzyme BAMH1, that results in the cleavage leading to the formation of multiple DNA fragments, which is of no use. Then we go with the other option, that is the use of adapters. Now let us discuss about these adapters in detail. Coming to the other one, that is adapters. Like linkers, these adapters are also short synthetic oligonucleotides. Unlike linkers, these adapters will have a blunt end at one end and sticky end at the other end. If you look into the structure of a linker, though they look to be blunt ended, they will carry a recognition sequence for the restriction enzyme, right? When we digest this linker with a restriction enzyme, it is going to produce a sticky end, right? But unlike these linkers, these adapters will carry sticky end at one end. So it will be very easy to generate a sticky end onto a blunt ended DNA molecule with the use of an adapter. It seems to be very easy, but when it comes to the action, it also carries some problem. See, look at the picture. There is a ligation between the two adapters. As the sequences are complementary to each other, adapters can join together with each other, forming a dimer. When they both ligate with each other, see here, this is the blunt ended DNA molecule which is added with the adapters. When two adapters join with each other forming a dimer, again they will give rise to a blunt ended DNA molecule. So there will be no sticky end at the end of the DNA molecule. Again this seems to be blunt ended because of the formation of adapted dimers. To overcome this problem, we have a solution. Let us discuss about that solution again with a diagrammatic representation. Look at the picture carefully. As we already discussed about the problem with the use of adapters, here there is a solution. So this is the structure of an adapter. It will have a blunt end same as of the natural DNA, but here the sticky end is modified. As we all know that DNA is double stranded, and it will have a 5' phosphate group and 3' hydroxyl group, right? And both these strands are anti-parallel, right? So here there will be a 3' hydroxyl group and 5' phosphate group, right? Due to the presence of hydroxyl group instead of phosphate group, DNA ligase cannot form phosphodiester bond between 5' hydroxyl group and 3' hydroxyl group. Right? See, DNA ligase will always form a phosphodiester bond between 5' phosphate group and 3' hydroxyl group, right? But here the 5' phosphate group is modified. It is replaced with hydroxyl group. DNA ligase cannot form phosphodiester bond between 3' hydroxyl group and 5' hydroxyl group. Though the adapters base pair with each other as they carry the sticky ends, but that combination is never stabilized as there is no ligation process. See here, look at the second picture. This is the blunt ended DNA molecule and these are the adapters. They are modified in such a way they are carrying hydroxyl group at 5' end instead of phosphate group. That is the reason there will be no formation of phosphodiester bond between two hydroxyl group. There should be a phosphate group and hydroxyl group, but here the phosphate group is modified. In this way, we prevent the ligation of two adapter molecules. Look at the third picture. See here, this is the blunt ended DNA molecule with the attached adapters which are carrying 5' hydroxyl group, right? See here, if we want to ligate this DNA fragment with the suitable vector, now it should have a 5' phosphate group. Otherwise, we can't ligate, right? Because ligate is going to form a phosphodiester bond between the 5' phosphate group and the 3' hydroxyl group, right? For that reason, again we need to modify this 5' end. That is, we need to replace this hydroxyl group again with the phosphate group. For that reason, we take help of an enzyme called polynucleotide kinase, which is going to add a phosphate group at the 5' end. Now it is ready to join with the suitable vector with the help of enzyme DNA ligase. Coming to the last one, that is homopolymer tiling. It's a different approach in order to generate a sticky end onto a blunt ended DNA molecule. So here homopolymer is simply a polymer in which all the subunits are same. Homo in the sense same, right? Whereas hetero is different. Here tailing involves the use of enzyme called terminal deoxynucleotidal transferase, which involves the addition of nucleotides at the 3' hydroxyl end of a DNA molecule. If we want to carry out a ligation between two tailed molecules, both of them should be complementary with each other. For suppose if I want to introduce a foreign DNA molecule into a suitable vector, frequently those vectors are tailed with poly DC, whereas the DNA molecules are tailed with poly DG. Both are complementary with each other, right? So base pairing takes place between these two DNA molecules when they are mixed together. So look at the picture. This is the poly DC tail. This is the vector. And this is the foreign DNA which is to be inserted into this vector. So these are tailed with poly DG and the vector is tailed with poly DC. So they both base pairs with each other, forming a recombinant DNA molecule. But in practice there is a problem. So always these tails are not same. Sometimes the DNA fragment may carry more G residues compared to the C residues which are present in the vector, which results in discontinuities. In that case, DNA polymerase is the enzyme which comes into the action and it is going to fill the gaps, whereas the enzyme DNA ligase is going to form the phosphodiester bonds between the two adjacent nucleotides. In this way, the discontinuities are repaired with the help of these two enzymes, that is polymerase and ligase. This is all about the ligation. Soon I will come up with my next video. Thank you so much.